All right, a pleasant good morning to all of our viewers, and of course, pleasant good morning to Dr. Navarro and Mr. Diaz this morning. Of course, we're going to be talking, well, we always talk about healing, but we more or less not going to be diving into natural medicine itself, the importance of natural medicine, and also as well to how we can help persons to get over certain types of diseases, and also, of course, preventing those diseases as well. So this morning we're going to go with a holistic approach, meaning the whole body itself, and also dealing with across the board any type of disease that actually comes to the mind. All right. So healing through natural medicine. Read a little quote here that that person will be seeing on the screen. It says, all right, let me just pull up that quickly. Nice. Okay, good. Right. So it says every misuse of any part of our organism is a violation of the law which God designs shall govern us in these matters. By violating this law, human beings corrupt themselves. Sickness, disease of every kind, ruin constitutions, premature decay, untimely death. These are results of the violation of natural law or nature's laws. Okay. So sickness is caused by violating the laws of health. It is the results of violating nature's law. So we need to pay very close attention as to what as to what is happening around us. The gloom, the pundency, supposed to be the results of disobedience to God's moral law, are often attributed to disregard the physical law. Perfect health depends upon perfect circulation. The health of the entire system depends upon healthy action of the respiratory system. So we're just going to leave it at that for now. If we would have health, we must live for it. All right, so I'll leave you with that. So we're going to just bring in Dr. Navarro and Mr. Diaz to basically give us a few comments on what I just read there. So perfect health, of course, if we violate the laws of health, laws of health would be like things like sleep. If a person not, let's say, getting enough water into the system, lack of exercise, and there's so much more health into laws of health into that. Natural laws that govern us as human beings. And if we follow those steps, we'll be able to either prevent diseases or overcome certain type of diseases as well. So, Dr. Navarro, let me hear
You're,
your thoughts on that.
well, Dr. Thompson, let me tell you what's the issue today. Today, unfortunately, is the type of food that we're eating. We have to understand if we are to go back to the natural foods that we're eating, there's so many processed and refined and genetically modified foods out there that those foods, when placed in the body, do not contribute to a healthy body. You have five organs of elimination. You have the lungs, liver, colon, kidney, skin. And then you have the immune system, and then you have the lymphatic system, which is part of the circulation and also the immune system. Okay? And unfortunately, uh, what we put in our body will determine the type of health we're going to have. Now, I was just the other day, I was passing. I was going, a morning I was going, I think it's a Saturday morning, I was driving. Somewhere I was going. And the amount of people that was crowded, we passed through about six double stands. And it was like just people line up to eat breakfast. And then and then I passed back there late in the night, and people were eating. They were having it for lunch, and then in the night I saw people eating it for dinner. Right, and that's just one of the unhealthy foods you have. Fried. People say the chana is healthy, but the thing about it is we pump every day unhealthy foods into our systems. And of course, that has a domino effect on all the organs of elimination. And when we do our live blood analysis, for instance, we pick up all the toxins, we pick up all the digestive system in a disarray. The absorption factors are poor. Um, Cholesterol levels are high. You're seeing a lot of uric acid crystals, a lot of waste from the colon. We see yellow crystals in the blood signifying waste in the colon. And all those contribute to poor health. And of course, eventually, some people eventually have to they go on medication. And as I said before, medication is not, what I want to say, medication is not going to heal anything. It's not something you want to take and be on for the rest of your life, because all it does is treat symptoms of a disease. And you don't want to treat symptoms. That's why the holistic way and the natural way is always better. Because when you get an evaluation, we can see the issues in the blood and we can tell you, all right, this is what's going on with your just say your kidneys, your spinning protein, or we've seen bottle cap cells, which indicates that the kidneys are under stress. We've seen the liver stress, both types of liver stress there on the screen. We've seen the immune system, the poor levels of good, healthy bacteria that you yourself have destroyed because of your eating habits. And therefore, you have now compromised your immune system and you have opened up yourself to more issues and problems and disease. And that's why a lot of us, even though we are young, you're seeing a lot of sickness and disease today because our diet. You go in a grocery. Just yesterday evening, I was in a grocery. I walked down the aisle and I saw all these cereals that they have for kids loaded with sugar. And then parents want to know why my child is so rebellious and disobedient, because of what you're putting in the child's diet. We walk down an aisle, there's only juices loaded with sugar and everything that's processed and refined. Those foods have no life. They don't enhance the quality of your blood. They don't enhance the quality of in terms of our health. They don't. They do nothing. They may taste good. I'm not saying no. And then there's another aisle just for snacks alone. And then we load those things. We will self-eat it, and then we put it in the lunch kits of our kids. You know, and we feed it to our children and ourselves every day. Then there's no break in between breakfast, lunch, and dinner with one constant meal. We eating right through. We eating foods right through. So the stomach now is overburdened, is overworked. So you find people are tired. They're getting up in the morning, they're tired, they're dragging themselves out of bed because they have to go to work, but they're not feeling energetic because number one, the natural occurring intrinsic factor that is found in the stomach that has to combine with your B12 is being destroyed. Your probiotics is being destroyed, so your immune system we know already compromised. And when you look at the blood, you're just a bag full of toxins. And you want to know why I am getting sick. Well, that's why you're getting sick. Simple reason is that you need to pay attention to what you're putting in your mouth. There's no magic, listen, people, there's no magic bullet out there. If you think there's a magic bullet and that I can take a pill and there's a lot of good products. I'm not saying no. There are a lot of good products out there, but those products do not work like drugs. Drugs are intended to work in a poor, sick body. That's the bottom line. They're intended to work in a poor, sick body. They penetrate your digestive system, get into the blood, and do what they're supposed to do. But I call that crisis medicine. You use it in a crisis when you need to bring down your blood sugar, or you need to, there's an issue that's going on in your body and you need to control it before it gets critical and that you can die. You use drugs and medication. Once you go on a proper program, you can then wean yourself off all these medications and drugs and all these things. But first of all, you need to have discipline. You need to sacrifice certain foods that you're eating in order so that you can have good health. Good blood is not manufactured with processed refined food, sugar, dairy, and all these chocolates and all these fried foods and things and processed foods like pizza and all these things. You understand? Our bodies cannot run on that type of fuel. And eventually we have to pay the piper. All right? You will have to pay the piper eventually. And if you know the condition of our health system today in Trinidad and Tobago, and if you intend to go to a private institution, you better have a bankload of money in order to go into one of those private institutions, because health is not cheap. And some of us do not have the resources, we do not have the money. So what we're telling you is make the changes to your diet and your lifestyle. Otherwise, you are going to pay the price for good health. Okay? So that's my little contribution for now. I don't know.
Those are very good contributions. But of course, you talked about the nutrition itself. What I always try to focus on for persons is what to eat. All right. So because the easiest thing is to say what not to eat. All right. So basically, if you look at if person just take a little look at the screen, they will see different little seeds or maybe some legumes. In general, what you want to do, you want to eat as natural as possible as you can. So from things like almonds, like walnuts, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. You're also looking at persons who will use, natural stuff that they could find right around the house. You're also looking at things like yam and dasheen and sweet potatoes, especially sweet potatoes. Those are foods that are healthy for you. That's not going to cause any major problems. In research right now throughout the world, one of the major research you're looking at is glucose and the effects of glucose on the human body. Now, we're not talking about glucose generally that the body needs. Of course, our cells need glucose to survive. Without it, we'll die. But what I'm talking about is refined sugars. There are top research on that, researchers right now, and they're looking at persons who gain weight, persons who develop so many different types of diseases. We are bombarded by mostly eating lots of carbohydrates itself, right? But we'll get into that. When we talk about holistic medicine or holistic health, meaning whole itself, we're talking about across the line where we look at nutrition, look at your water intake. Now, if you don't look at your water intake carefully, there are so many diseases that can actually come upon the human body when you don't drink enough water. We'll go down deeper into that. But I want Mr. Diaz to basically give us some information on the importance of adding herbal medicine or herbs into your lifestyle itself. Because when we talk about nutrition, most of the time we talk about different foods that you could reach right there. But most persons don't look at herbs itself as being a big part of our diet. So I want you to share your wealth of knowledge with us this morning. And to all of our viewers, well, good morning to all of our viewers. Let me just mention some names here. We have Laura Thompson. We also have Brandon Vialva, of course, good friend to us. Vanessa Thompson as well. And I'm seeing someone here by the name of D. All right. I'm not too sure. They look like they don't want to reveal the name. But in other words, welcome and thank you for joining us this morning. Please share the live so that everyone can learn. If anybody has any questions or comments, you'll be able to share that with us. All right, so I've seen the name here. Nice. All right, so thank you. And let us continue with this information here to what the persons that are listening. Right, come in now and share your wealth of knowledge with us.
Good morning, Dr. Thompson. Good morning, Dr. Navarro. All right, let's look at the topic this morning. All right, healing through natural medicine. I'm gonna give it a little twist. You know, I love to put my own twist into these things. All right, so let's say healing through natural medicine. Let us call it healing through God-given medicine. All right.
I like the way that you put it.
Take a look at when you take a look at the book of Genesis 1, 27 to 29. One of the things that the book alludes to there is that when God gave us our natural diet, one of the things that He added was herbs. Now the thing about it is that we don't really find anybody eating herbs these days. But as Dr. Thompson and I were discussing just a bit earlier on this week, one of the things that we plan to do is that we plan to start a series on wild edibles. So in other words, we are planning to go out there, pretty much get what we will call those wild plants out there that are edible, and basically start a program that would basically teach people the plants that are actually good for food. And these plants, of course, these plants are very nutrient rich. What do we eat these days? We basically eat everything, all of the plants that we eat, although they do have a certain level of nutrition. The fact of the matter is that the plants that we are eating right now, these plants are really highly genetically modified. And we are eating these plants over and over and over and over and over. And it seems to be all that we know. Lettuce, pak choy, kale. You know, we keep eating these plants over and over and over. And there are so many other plants, wild plants out there that are not genetically modified. They have not been tampered with. They contain all of their nutrition, but they don't teach us to eat these plants. And when I say they, I am basically talking about, again, the powers that be. You go to the doctor, or, you know, you're looking at an ad on TV, and they would be advertising some drug, and they will say to you, speak to your doctor. Everything, speak to your doctor. Nobody seems to know how to do their own research anymore. Nobody speaks to the herbalist anymore. Nobody speaks to the natural healer anymore. Because what is happening is that the media is basically training you to only speak to your doctor. And the average lifespan of a doctor is between 43 to 45 years. So you basically living longer than your doctor. All right. Now, what I would like to say here is that if we expect to be healed through natural medicine, it means that we need to use natural medicine. We need to understand what is involved in the use of natural medicine. We need to understand the benefits of natural medicine. All right. We have such a high dependency on sugars and processed foods, and all of these things are basically stuff that are killing us. And we are moving to a time whereby pretty soon we ain't gonna have any food on our table unless we're planting our own food. Our food import bill is pretty much it is higher than it's ever been in the history of this country. We have just in case you don't know, let me just highlight to you, we have a situation where the Panama Canal, we have ships, all those ships out there that are backed up, they can't pass through the canal to deliver food to various parts of the world. And that Panama Canal, the ships that actually go through the Panama Canal also bring food to us. So the media is not highlighting that. As a matter of fact, nobody seems to be highlighting it. But we have a real problem taking place out there. So it means that what may happen is that we may end up with a food crisis. Nobody wonders about it. And then eventually, what are we going to do? All right. So here's the solution, people. The solution is we need to take the power back. All right. Plant your own food. Get more acquainted with the natural foods and the benefits of natural food. Get more acquainted with natural medicine. All right. Get more acquainted pretty much with our body, how our body works, and we need to start doing stuff that will benefit us instead of benefiting the pockets of all those big conglomerates out there. Okay, we need to get serious about our health. There is this policy that a lot of people may not choose to go the way of natural health because there is this policy that it is too expensive. Let me dispel of that policy here this morning with something really, really simple. How much does an average meal cost you if you decide to go and buy, I don't know, a roti out there? All right, I'm just highlighting something here, people. So we're going to buy a roti. What is the average cost of a roti? All right. Let's say a vegetable roti, because I personally, I don't eat meats. I'm vegetarian. So I'm not even talking about a chicken roti. I'm talking about a vegetable roti. Okay. Now, the last time I remember purchasing a vegetable roti, it basically cost me about almost $50, about $45. All right. I couldn't believe that the cost of food is actually going up so quickly. All right. So I went to buy a vegetable roti only to realize to myself, but wait a minute, the last time I purchased a roti, I can't remember it being so expensive. All right. And it basically cost me about $45. Now, if I take that $45, I go and I purchase a piece of yam, I purchase some tomatoes, all right, a little onion and garlic. Listen, I could purchase all of that and keep it under $45, and I have food pretty much for an entire day because I wouldn't eat all of that in one meal. Let's say I'll have 2 meals out of that. Okay? If I have to buy a chicken roti, it's going to cost me more than that. All right? So the whole fallacy that eating natural is too expensive, listen, no. All right? That is baloney. All right? What we need to understand is you need to understand how to shop smart. All right? So if I'm going to the market, I have limited funds and I'm going to buy food to eat. What I want to do is I want to look for the best deals. So instead of going to buy beetroot and carrots and cabbage and all of these things, which is good, but they are also a bit expensive. What if I choose to buy, I don't know, maybe pumpkin and maybe a little green fig or little ground provision and stuff like that, and I decide to probably make a meal out of that. All right, I could actually go to the market, and I'm telling you serious here. All right, this is stuff that I've actually done before. I could go to the market with $30 and come back home, all right, with a meal that is going to last me the day. All right, for those of you that think that I'm talking foolishness, I'm telling you straight, you need for me to give you a lesson on shopping, all right, and shopping intelligently. All right. Now, if it is that we are serious about health, one of the first things that I would say is Health starts in your kitchen. You have to be well informed about what to eat, how to eat. All right, all of these processed foods, especially sugar. Sugar is the first thing. If you could get rid of sugar, I guarantee you, if you could get rid of sugar, I guarantee you, you are on your way to good health, regardless of what disease you might be suffering from. All right? Put away the sugar, and you are going to see amazing stuff happening simply by putting away one item, sugar. Okay? Consider also putting away all of those highly processed oils, soybean oil, canola oil, all of these things. All right, olive oil is a little expensive, coconut oil is a little expensive, but if used wisely, it would last you for a long time. You don't need a whole lot of these oils. Okay? Drink water. Forget about drinking all of those carbonated beverages. Forget about the juice. Forget about all these things. Simply drink water. In most cases, water is free. All right, drink water. We have spring water in various places. You go to Blanchisseuse Road, spring water. You go to Aripo Road, spring water. All you have to do is put a little gas in your car, put some gallons in your car trunk, and take a Sunday morning drive and get yourself some spring water. Now, why does these things seem so hard? All right. Now, the reality is, if your health is not your priority, then obviously it is never going to be important for you. But if you continue going down the road that you're going down now, I don't need to tell you, eventually you are going to be spending money that you don't have in medical bills. But if you can take these small steps now, eventually what you will recognize is that these small steps will add up. The benefits will add up. All right. Just to close, let me tell you something. I come from a family that has various issues, but one of the issue in my family, and still is we have a very weak nervous system. I remember back in the days, you get me vexed, boy, I will shake like a leaf, and anything I get, I will hit you. All right. But when I made changes to my diet, what I recognized to myself is that not only did my hands become steady, these hands don't shake anymore, steady. But also what happened is that my level of self-control improved. All right. Now people could do things to get me vexed, and I will be as cool as a cucumber, and I will deal with you without getting angry. I believe that all of this is a benefit of making changes to the diet. All right. So while it is that you find that all these things takes a little time, what I would say is that it is better to start somewhere than not to make steps. All right. It is better to start somewhere than not to take any steps at all. All right. I would advise our listeners, take the first step. All right. I think, well, that's pretty much what I have to say for now, Dr. Thompson. Where's Dr. Thompson? All right. In that case, I guess I have the opportunity maybe to say a couple more things. All right. Let me share an experience with you. Last Sunday, I was actually at a health fair. I went up to Valencia. I was invited to a health fair in Valencia there. And I basically took some herbs from around the yard. I took some of my products and I went up to Valencia. I laid out everything and basically started to engage the community. Now, it's a free health fair, so you find that it attracts a lot of people that are looking for answers but don't have monies to go to the doctor. All right, so I had a lot of people around the table and they would ask questions, they would look at the different herbs, and they would come there at first they're a bit standoffish, but as long as you start to interact with them, you start giving them information on the various herbs and stuff like that, what you'll recognize is that these people, they started to appreciate the benefits of simply standing there and talking and learning about the local herbs. A lot of people left smiling. People that had issues, but of course, they are hoping that, you know, the money at the end of the month will be enough for them to go check a doctor and all these different type of things. I was able to actually speak to people there, and I was able to introduce them to some of the herbs that they have right in their backyard. And I was able to let them know, well, listen, all right, this is how you can use it. This is how you can, these are the combinations that you can use. All right. And what you can do is you can combine it with this, or you can combine it with that. You can do some simple changes to your diet, drink more water. But a lot of people took the information, they were very happy. Okay. They would take their pens, they would write little notes and stuff, and they seem really, really excited that when they leave that place, boy, I'm going to go home and I'm going to start doing this and I'm going to start doing that. All right. So health really and truly, people, is not expensive. It is not expensive. All right. When there's a will, there's a way. God has already provided for us all that we need. All we need to do is be obedient to what God has, be obedient to the advice that God has given us. All right. And whatever little we can do for our health, if we would do that, then God is going to make up the lack. All right. And we can be healthier people simply by making really, really simple choices. All right. Simple choices in what we eat, simple choices in the teas that we have in the morning. Instead of having coffee and instead of having Lipton and all these things in the morning, all right, there are simple teas that you can actually use that will be more beneficial. All right. I always say, for people that drink coffee and stuff like that, eventually it's just a matter of time that you're going to start suffering magnesium deficiency, because that's one of the things that coffee does. Coffee depletes the body of that very, very vital mineral called magnesium. All right. And whenever your magnesium levels go down, then obviously what will eventually happen there is that you're going to find yourself with heart problems, circulation problems. You're going to find yourself having muscle cramps and stuff like that. All right. So for those of you out there that basically have cramping of the muscles and stuff, all right, that's a magnesium. In most cases, you're talking about a magnesium deficiency. All right. So anything that depletes the body of magnesium, these are stuff that I would always suggest, hey, get off of that. Experiencing some technical difficulties here also based on what I'm looking at. All right, but I think so far our time has pretty much gone past the amount of time that we have planned to spend on this live. I think I have lost Dr. Thompson and Dr. Navarro. All right, but good news. All right, I am still here to finish this off. All right, Dr. Navarro. You hearing me?
Yes, definitely.
All right,
I just took off my camera.
Okay. Because I was just thinking for a while that we were having some difficulty there. So, Dr. Navarro, I think we have elapsed our time. Is there anything closing that you would like to add to us? Oh, Dr. Thompson is here.
Before you leave, actually, there was some questions.
Good, bring them on.
Right. This is one question here. All right. What can help with like cracking of the knees or the sound itself in the knees itself? What can
Dr.
actually
Navarro.
use?
Usually, we used to, long time, we used to do hyaluronic acid in injections, but that means that the joint is not getting proper lubrication. And if you start it, and that's going to end up where the person is going to end up losing their cartilage. That's how it first starts. The crackling, and then the cartilage is going to wear, and then you're going to get pain. So I would just suggest they can use chondroitin, glucosamine, a good quality. Camu Camu, we have one here that it has collagen, glucosamine, and Camu Camu. It's called Joint Repair. And they can start using it. It's only half a teaspoon. It will last a long time and they get good benefits. But of course, the next step is the sugar, what we talk about, what destroys joints. Sugar, dairy, and animal protein in excess. Those are the three foods. And of course, the genetically modified flour. Right? So we have to watch those foods.
All right. Well, of course, for those that want to get more information, they could always call our numbers. All right, I'm going to put up the numbers, but these are the two locations that persons can actually go to. One in Chaguanas and also one in Trinity. Right. So scrolling across the screen, I'll leave it up for a while so that person will get an idea where they can go exactly. And then we also, of course, have our numbers. If person want to get more information, again, the numbers will be going across the screen there to add information. Well, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Diaz and Dr. Navarro for so much information. Of course, we're going to be, I am going to be back on live on radio this afternoon at around 2:30. And I'll also be live on the Facebook and on the YouTube, right? So you look out for that information. Now, what I can do, right, Mr. Diaz, if you want, you can actually join me in this program as well on the radio.
Oh, definitely.
From here, okay? So at 2:30, we'll be back on again, people. Please come join us and send in your comments or any messages or any questions that you like answered, and join us at that time and again. Right, I'm seeing one more question here. Well, actually, it's not a question. Okay, right. Is it okay to eat junk food occasionally? Right, so I'll let you answer that one, and then we'll close off the session.
All right. Okay, let me call that a good question. All right, but how would I answer that? Now, a friend of mine used to always tell me that the devil doesn't take a day off. Now, here's the idea. If it is that you choose to eat healthy, obviously, eating junk food once in a while may not affect you the way it would affect you if it is that you're eating junk food every day. But here's my take on that. What I've recognized is that we don't know what we're eating. All right, we honestly do not know what we are eating. Junk food is becoming more and more dangerous. So it's a bit like playing Russian roulette. All right, so taking a chance to eat junk food could actually be quite risky in the time in which we live in. So what I would say is that make a decision to eat healthy and stay healthy and stick with healthy foods. While it is that junk food tastes good, the reality is it is also very risky. You know, and I suppose that's the most I can say there, Doc.
All right, and I think that's a very simple and to the point answer. All right. Right.
Yeah.
See another. Let me. Questions now start to come. Can you slowly come off sweet food or start right now? I think it's better to come off slowly. Okay. Now, when you talk about sweet food, you're talking about maybe snacks and different things like that. Those things you could come off right away because that's not really part of your diet to really
Processed
add
sugar.
too much to you. But what I would say, there are some persons that might be drinking things like coffee. They might be using animal foods. They might be using certain types of other foods that will have stimulants in it that you'll generally have to be careful of coming off too quickly. For example, if you come off coffee too quickly, you're going to get withdrawal symptoms. You'll actually feel worse off than before. These are things you have to take into consideration and think about it carefully. Meat, the same thing. You have to take your time when you're coming off. Now we're going to be back on at 2:30 live again. So for those that would like to ask any more questions, please join us again at 2:30, and we'll be able to share information with you. And to those that want to log on to the radio program, you'll get us on I-95.5 at 2:30 p.m. this afternoon. Right. So God bless everyone. And I hope the information was useful and helpful to all those that were actually listening. So join us again as we come back to share more information on natural healing in God's eyes. Put it that way now.